Hello, my name is Troy Gunderson and I'm the Superintendent of Schools for the School District of West Salem. I'd like to talk to you today about an upcoming referendum that our school board is elected to hold. They'll be holding a referendum on February 20th of 2018 requesting permission to borrow an additional $1.5 million for the purpose of completing renovations to our high school automotive training center and for completing the project known as the Multi-Purpose Event Center. If you can recall, in 2016, voters approved two referenda questions in November. One was a $20 million project to renovate our middle school, and the other was for $5 million to do work on our athletic department. Well, I'm pleased to report that the middle school project's ahead of schedule and about $1.5 million under budget, so our school board only borrowed $18.5 million of that $20 million. The $5 million project that was to address the athletic events, about $2.3 million of that has been spent and allocated already for softball, track, tennis, football stadium, and all the things that go with that, leaving approximately $2.7 million for the event center. If you recall, the event center is going to include a concessions and restroom for a lot of the outdoor activities, plus a big open space so that we can play ice hockey indoors. Well, after designing that facility, the board has discovered that really to complete the infrastructure needed to pull that off, the price of that facility is going to be closer to $3.7 million. And also, while investigating ways to improve our automotive program, we had budgeted to make repairs and renovations out there over time. It just seems like we'd be better served to do them all at once. And the price tag for that's about $500,000. Well, when the first project came in at $1.5 million under, then it was suggested, hey, maybe we could use some of that money to complete these other projects. Well, that's not legal. We asked two questions last November, and they're very specific about what you can use the money for, and that transparency and accountability is good for all of us. So in a sense, on February 20th, the school board is asking your permission to move $1.5 million from our middle school project and use it to complete the event center and to complete renovations to our Automotive Lab. Why are these two projects still out there? Well, our Automotive Lab is something that we've been using now for about 15 years. For those of you who've been around a while, you'll remember that that's located in what used to be our transportation facility. And we've just outgrown that program. We're now serving students from a number of school districts. We really have the state's model automotive training center, and it just needs to be bigger and updated. And I think for $500,000 we can make a dent in that project back there. The Multi-Purpose Event Center, where we are now going to have gymnastics practice in there. We'll also have a concession and restroom area for tennis, soccer, softball, and lower level football games, and also be able to play ice hockey in there. Upon completing the design, we realized we can complete the basic infrastructure of that facility and begin to use it for a cost of $3.7 million. It wasn't fully designed the first time. We had just allocated money to that project and weren't sure what the final design would look like. So if we think about these two projects, hopefully we can complete that work, and if you give us permission, we will transfer that money. People will ask me, the other question is, what about my taxes? Well, we set up our borrowing for this money based upon borrowing the entire $25 million we were given permission for. And we've continued to do that. So if voters reject this proposal on February 20th, we simply won't borrow the rest of it, and we'll lower the last payment in our payment schedule, which means that we'll see a tax reduction in 2036 or 2037. If voters vote yes, we'll slot the $1.5 million right into the sessions where it was supposed to be in the first place, and we'll continue making about a $1.9 million a year payment, and you'll see a pretty level run in the taxes. So in the brief note there, your taxes will be about the same regardless of how this goes until 2036, when the debt's paid off sooner if voters reject this proposal. If you have any additional questions upon this, please don't hesitate to give us a call at the district office at 786-0700 or send me an email, and my email can be found on our website. Thank you for taking the time to view this video, and thank you for supporting public education, and get out and vote on February 20th.